Haha, take whatever the fuck. What's up, nerds? I'm making a little video to help you learn some shit. I just wanted to help y'all get acquainted with how to run your offense and your pressure in anime fighters and Under Night specifically, but this is going to be able to be applied to most anime fighters. So, when you first start a game, you start learning a game, you learn how to do your fucking combo. You spend a bunch of time in training mode, nailing down your sick ass combo, right? You're like, oh my god, I can do the shit like 99 times out of 100. I never drop it. I'm just fucking sick as fuck. But what this doesn't take into account is, hey, sometimes people block. And what I see a lot of new players do is that they just run up and they try to do their combo. And when they don't get their combo, they're like, oh, fuck, what do I fucking do? I don't even know anymore. Because most anime fighters and most fighting games in general, they'll teach you how to do a combo. They'll teach you what to do when you hit your opponent. But they don't really do a good job of teaching you what to do when they block, right? And so what we want to be doing is we want to be using block strings when they block. Which generally all a block string is something you can do to your opponent when you realize that they're blocking your combo that leaves you safe. And there's a lot more you can do with it, but at the very least, that's what you want a block string for. It's just, did they block? I do that. Did they not block? My left input is being funky. Did they block? Do a block string. Did they not block? Do my combo. And so an easy way to practice this is just figure out a block string, just something that ends safe. A lot of the time it can just be like something into a special move. Or if they didn't block, then you do your combo. They blocked, I did my block string. They didn't block, I do my combo, right? And you just want to keep doing that. And if you don't even have like a block string figured out yet, a really easy way to just do this is just, if they block, do your combo. If they don't block, do your combo, sorry. If they do block, just stop. And so like, especially when I'm learning a new character, a lot of the time, once I've gotten my combos down, I'll just do this to just kind of get an idea and just get better at confirming the hits. Hit confirming. And it's gonna be hard at first, but a lot of the time, your block string will sometimes be like your combo. So you have quite a few hits of it to realize that your opponent didn't block. And as you get better, you'll be able to recognize it in those first few hits. Right? And once you get to that point, you're going to be sick. And then you can make your block strings more complicated and do some fun stuff with them. So I want to talk about some of the things you can do with block strings and just your pressure on your opponent. And basically all pressure is in a fighting game is forcing your opponent to make decisions that could result in them making a mistake so that you get a hit on them, and then you get to do your big juicy combo that you've been practicing in training mode for 5 fucking hours and you finally got it and you just want to do it in a match, but people are just always fucking blocking, dude, and I never get to do my fucking combo. It fucking sucks because I just get hit. I just get hit out of my fucking. I try to do my combo and then they block it and I get hit and it's fucking bullshit. So what we can do is we can start throwing mix-ups into our pressure to make our opponent stop blocking. And so a really basic way to do this is strike throw mix-ups. Say I'm standing next to my opponent. I can do two things here. I can hit him, or I can throw him. And by mixing these two things up with each other, you can create a really strong offense. Just by using hits and throws together. Because to beat a throw, you have to do this. It takes a long time. It won't beat somebody running up and hitting you. Right? So, one of the easiest ways, or one of the best ways, I'd say, to get people to stop blocking and try to think you're going to throw, it's by staggering your pressure. So, like, your block string. The block string I've been doing for the whole video with Kuon has been something like this. Right? And I'm just doing that as fast as possible. Okay. We can start using stagger pressure. And as its namesake, we stagger the gaps between each attack we do so that it makes our opponent think we're going to stop. And then they think it's their turn to run at us and hit a button, or they think we're going to run up and throw them, right? It's pretty cool, because, let's see, let's set a... So you're like, oh, maybe I'll get hit in the middle of that. But if you're doing it correctly, you won't. I need this to be reversal. Right? Funny shit. And so, generally the way I like to approach this, and approach it when let's say I'm fighting somebody for the first time, what am I going to do? I get my first hit off block on them, right? I don't want to immediately start going for my strike throw mix-up game. Because they have no reason to respect this. I haven't given them any reason to. So generally what I like to start with is just a really standard block string. And doing staggers is really good. Because once you've demonstrated this block string, you can start cutting it short and just running in. Reset pressure by running back in if they think you're going to continue it. Or continue the pressure. And so every character has different ways to kind of reset their pressure. Keep it their turn. Keep it their turn to press buttons. Which, like for Kuon, for example, he really relies on strike throw and just good stagger pressure. And like, after you've kind of like gotten a block string down and kind of figured out how to get pressure going, you can start working in like, you could do completely different strings, right? Which just makes it harder and harder. The more stuff you can add to your pressure just makes it harder and harder for your opponent to block it. Which, at the end of the day, we want things to be as hard for our opponent to block as possible, because we want the best chance of getting a hit. We want to land that big juicy combo we spent 14 hours practicing in training mode, and then we cry because we never get to hit it because we don't know how to do stagger pressure. There's a few other ways of doing pressure, right? We can do things like high-low mix-ups. Kuon has this little float, and he can do some goofy shit with it. And basically all high-low is when I say high or low, some attacks have to be blocked standing, some attacks have to be blocked crouching. That's all it is. Pretty simple. and this is one of like the most, I think this is most people, the way most people that are like semi-acquainted with fighting games will think about mix-ups. At least that's what I did when I first started. I might be wrong. I might just be a fucking weirdo. But most people, I think, don't really think of stagger pressure and like strike throw when they first are picking up fighting games. But it's really strong, and it's a really good way to keep low risk and have high reward off of your pressure. The other thing is we can make our stagger pressure even scarier by baiting people's throws. Because if somebody tries to throw, right, there's a bunch of different ways you can punish that shit. And so one of the things in Under Night is we have this funny little command, forward plus B. That's assault. It's just a little hop. But one of the most important things about this is that if you are airborne, you are immune to getting thrown. And this is how you're going to deal with characters with like command throws that you can't tech. But also, it's just a really good way to deal with throws in general. So we can start baiting throws with assault. So a lot of the time, you're doing your stagger pressure. You're doing this shit. Oh, you think they're gonna? They think you think. You think they think you're gonna throw them? Just run up and assault. Because if you assault, you're airborne, and then you get that juicy punish. I think that it's not saying punish, but it's a punish. I swear to God. But yeah, throw baits are really good, and just if you can master just mixing up dagger pressure and throw baits and just resetting your pressure with interesting timings to keep your opponent on your toes, it's going to get you so far. Because, like, and it's going to vary from character to character. And if any of y'all have questions about your characters and how to do this, I will do my best to help. But I don't know much about this game. I've only got like 40 hours in it. But, like, Kuon, for example, he can cancel his stuff into a fly. He can also cancel, if they're really conditioned to blocking, you can throw out one of these wheels, and then you're plus a bajillion. And you just get to keep pressuring. Basically, your goal of your pressure is you want to keep your pressure going as long as you possibly can. Because the longer your pressure is, the more chances you have of getting to hit your opponent. But that doesn't mean be an idiot. You gotta keep your shit safe. And sometimes that means don't take risks and just back off. Because sometimes you might find I might get like a little pressure in, but if I think I'm winning at neutral more, sometimes I won't really push that pressure. It's all just a read of how to play the game and how well you're excelling at different areas, right? During a match. You want to have, in a perfect world, you want to have strong pressure and you want to have strong neutral, but against certain players, against certain characters, you're going to find that maybe it's not the best for me to be up in their face like this. You might get more reward, but they might have really low risk options to kind of blow up your pressure. The other thing I want to talk about is Oki. So what Oki is short for Okizeme, and it's just the concept of hitting your opponent as they're waking up from a knockdown. From midway, and all it is because the reason you want to do this is you knock them down and they press buttons, you kill them. And if they... So they have to block. The only other thing they can do is that they can commit really hard to doing some kind of invincible reversal. Or a DP for short. Dragon Punch comes from Street Fighter, blah 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 blah. And running up and doing a meaty attack. And what a meaty is just, it's an attack that hits your opponent as they get up from the ground, so they're forced to either block or do an invincible reversal. So doing this will get beat by an invincible reversal, but that's a very high-risk option, because now they're eating a fuck-ass load of damage. And some characters have some real goofy shit that they can do with their Oki. Like Kuon, for example, like I just showed, he can set that big spinny wheel to get a bunch of frame advantage, make you block for a long time, do some goofy mix-ups. Right? I thought I told you to not do that. Shit. Turn that off. See? I can do, like, I get to do whatever the fuck I want off this. Right? Nanase, for example. I don't play the character, but I've seen people play her. And she can do shit like this. What's that doing? What the fuck? Yeah. She can set that up to make you block. It's really cool. And every character has different fun ways of doing Oki and different ways of doing their pressure. But I hope that this gives you kind of an idea of where to start with pressure in this game and just anime fighters in general. I'm going to go over everything really quick, speed round, just to get it in your brain. So first, block strings. You want to keep them safe. And you want to keep them buried. Next thing, strike throw. You want to mix up attacking and throwing your opponent. And the best way to do that is by staggering the hits of your block strings, so that throw can come at any point. The next thing, once you've got your opponent blocking and just trying to tech throws, start using those throw baits to really call it out. Make them feel stupid for it. And then they won't want to try to tech those throws anymore when they eat a bunch of damage for it, and then you can throw the shit out of them. And then the last thing, high lows, strike throws. That's pressure, baby. You just want to mix your overheads and your lows. You want to mix in dagger pressure to try to get that counter hit. Make your opponent not want to press buttons. Just do a bunch of shit. And then one more thing, you got that Oki. Hit your opponent when they're getting up. And then the other thing, fucking block when you get up. That's the other big thing I see from a lot of new players. Is they just don't block on wake up. And blocking on Wake Up is really important. And actually, really quick, this fun little system mechanic, the tutorial will tell you this, but I feel like it's easy to forget. When you get knocked down... Fuck. When you get knocked down... For the love of God. Hold A, so you get up. Or just hold the button. You can also do a late tech. But generally, just if you get hit, start holding a button. You'll learn when not to, but that will come much farther down. And then there's one more thing I wanted to say that's just like a little bonus thing. And it's a big habit that honestly I still have. But one thing in anime fighters is generally you have an air dash. And one of the first things you're going to do, and you're going to think is really big brain, is you're like, oh, I can jump back and then air dash forward. That's like a little mix-up. Like, oh, they think I'm going back. Forward. Most people aren't going to fall for this, and honestly, as soon as somebody sees you jump back, their brain is going to go into watch for anti-air mode, because this is just very easy to see. You can do stuff like this if you're playing a character that has things that they can threaten from this range. Like, Kuon can fly and shit. He's fucking weird. He also has a big projectile. He can also cancel that air dash into a fly. But if you're playing a character that all they can really threaten out of this is a jump in, I'd recommend against it, because you're probably just going to get anti-aired. But that's just my thoughts. Hopefully this video was helpful to y'all. Love y'all. Glad you're playing Under Night. Want to see y'all get fucking awesome. And I hope the video was at least enjoyable and made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I think this was the last actually good take. So, fuck yeah. Night, everybody.